Hello, little children. Now we're going to look at direct speech, and we've done actually quite a lot of work on direct speech. So you can follow this here on YouTube, and also you can go back to the app where you can download this document and read through it in your own time. Okay, or you can do the two things together. You can have the app and you can have the YouTube video. Okay, such is the world of technology that we live in. Okay, so direct speech. Now, on the second page here, you can see the title, inverted commas. Up until now, we've always called those speech marks. So you know what a comma is? A comma is something that sits on the line, and actually, as we go through speech marks, we will see that ordinary commas are used. Now, the word inverted usually means upside down. So when we make our 66, that is literally an upside down comma. But inverted commas as a title is used to mean speech marks, the opening and closing speech marks, the 66 and the 99. Okay, so let's read this. Direct speech is when we write the actual words that someone has spoken. We use inverted commas to show the actual spoken words. Now remember when I said that this includes two sentences. So the two sentences in this, where it says, "I feel cold," said Nick. The two sentences are, "I feel cold," which is the sentence that Nick himself says. And the second sentence, which actually has the full stop at the end of it, "I feel cold," said Nick. And if you remember back when we looked at speech marks in holes, it says next, we begin a new line when a different person speaks. "I feel cold," said Nick. "So do I," replied Maggie. And again, there are two sentences there. "So do I," the actual words that Maggie said, and then the fuller sentence that includes "replied Maggie." "So do I," replied Maggie. And there's your full stop. Okay, moving on. After the spoken words, you need some punctuation. Usually we use a comma. And you can see the comma there after the word cold. Now, some of you remember me saying that punctuation marks, they really need to be attached to a word. I mean, not physically, like there's no space, but we don't put a space after the comma. The comma comes directly after the word cold, and the closing speech marks are 99, come directly after the comma. Obviously, because of this font that has been used here, perhaps the first 9 of the 99, the first 9 of the 99 looks as if it's almost directly on top of the comma. It isn't. Okay, and actually when you go to the next sentence where it says we can also use a question mark, you can see it better because "Do you feel cold?" question mark. You can see that there's a full stop at the bottom of the question mark. That's our first sentence. "Do you feel cold?" asked Mum. That's our second sentence. And the question mark is before the speech marks. And as you can see, directly after the speech marks, there is a space before the next word. So, "Do you feel cold?" question mark, 99, space, asked Mum. Full stop. And the full stop you can see is right beside Mum. There's not a space before the full stops. We can also use an exclamation mark. "I'm frozen," shouted the boy. And it's the same thing again. "I'm frozen," exclamation mark, including your full stop, 99, end of your inverted commas, end of your speech marks, space, shouted the boy, full stop. So the punctuation after the spoken words always comes before the inverted commas, always comes before the speech marks. Okay, so you've heard me say this a million times. So your job here is to copy these following sentences and putting the speech marks, the inverted commas, around the spoken words. Now, I'm going to do number 1 with you. specifically to look at that punctuation that comes directly after the spoken word. So the police are coming soon, said Anne. So you'll put a 66. Now, no space after the 66. You start with the capital T. Notice it's a capital T because it's the beginning of the sentence. Capital T. The police are coming soon, comma, 99, space, said Anne. And said does not have a capital letter because it is not the beginning of a sentence. Okay? And if you look at number 2, there's a question mark after time, but a small a in asked because that is not the beginning of a sentence. Okay? It is part of the fuller sentence. What is the time? Asked Richard. Okay? So the first sentence is what is the time? Those are the words that Richard said. And what is the time? Asked Richard is a whole complete sentence. So we don't put a capital letter at the beginning of asked. Okay, so your job then is to complete those sentences. Now you can listen to the rest of this YouTube video or you can pause it while you write those sentences. I don't mind. I am going to move straight on. Okay, so the next one, this is a bit trickier. It's a wee bit like dictation, but you don't have any spelling issues because the words are written for you. So grab this rope, shouted the climber. Now, I'm going to take you back to the first screen and it says, number 3, watch out, yelled the farmer. Okay? And I'm going to match that with number 1, grab this rope, shouted the climber. It is up to you to find what it is that is the same about those two sentences. May I have an apple? Asked Tara. That building over there is the museum, said the guide. I have lost my purse, sobbed Kathy. Have you got your ticket? Asked the bus driver. Okay? You can decide to move on with me or you can pause this. I recommend pausing it while you do those 5. And finally, we'll go through this page before we do our final exercise. Sometimes the words that tell us who's speaking come before the spoken words. So, for example, Dad said, you can watch a film tonight. Notice what is the biggest difference is not only the order of the words, but the comma comes after said and is not inside the speech marks. It is outside the inverted commas. Dad said, comma, no space. So there's no space between said and comma. Dad said, comma. Then there is a space. 66. You can watch a film tonight. Full stop. Speech marks. 99. No spaces between the punctuation marks. Okay? We always divide the spoken words from the words telling us who's speaking with a comma. So it is always a comma when you're saying those words first. The boy mumbled, the teacher said, and you've got your comma there. So you put the comma even if somebody's shouting, even if somebody's asking a question. The comma still comes after that word. The boy mumbled, comma, and there's no space between mumbled and comma. The teacher said, no space, comma. I don't know the answer. Please learn it for tomorrow. Okay? The boy mumbled, I don't know the answer. The teacher said, please learn it for tomorrow. Okay. So here are the questions then for you, the sentences for you to copy and complete. Sometimes it seems to be all Billy here. Sometimes actually, this is a conversation between Billy and a pirate. Okay. Where is the treasure heading? Asked the pirate. Billy said, I have got the map. Let me see. It demanded the pirate. Billy asked, what will you give me in return? With a cruel laugh, the pirate replied, nothing. That's not fair, gasped Billy. Now, there are some clues in the by way of capital letters. I think it was Mrs. Cullen that made up this PowerPoint, because it was originally a PowerPoint. And she has given you some clues. She's been very kind. She has given you some clues by the way of capital letters. But that is all. You can notice in number 6, there is an apostrophe. That is the only apostrophe there. There are not hundreds of apostrophes. That is the only apostrophe. So your job is to add in other punctuation. Speech marks, commas, question marks, exclamation marks. Some of them we could debate whether there's an exclamation mark or not. So you can decide. I say we can debate. I mean, we're actually not going to have a conversation because obviously this is on YouTube and you're at home. But if you want me to have a look, take a photo and put it in the comments. You don't have to do this all in one sitting. There are 3 different exercises, so you can do them over the course of the week. You can do some today, you can do some tomorrow, you can do some on Friday. But just to let you know, on Wednesday morning and Friday morning, we'll do dictation, just a wee reminder, and we'll do spelling test and country quiz on Friday. Okay. So I will speak to you in the next video.